So welcome everyone to our Wednesday free call. For those of you who are new, welcome. This is a really wonderful community of people. Hey, Sunny, you're on video now, so I can wave to you. So one thing about our community is we're pretty casual. You can kind of come and go as you want. I'm not a big stickler about that. You can come late, you can leave early, whatever it is that accommodates your schedule. And of course, you can watch the replays on our YouTube channel and also on the Shelter Animal Reiki Association Facebook. But also what I wanted to say is, so when we have questions, and feel free to raise your hand, feel free to use the chat for questions. I'll put the chat up so I don't miss anything. Any questions are fine. We're going to be talking about the science right now. But if you have a question about something that doesn't have anything to do with the science, that's totally fine. We're here to help support you with either animal Reiki, animal meditation, your animal Reiki business, whatever that is. If you have a question that comes up, please feel free to ask it. You can raise your hand if you're on camera. You can use the hand emoji, or if you don't have either of those available to you, you can always just unmute yourself and I will try and catch it. It's kind of hard for me sometimes. So if someone sees that someone has unmuted, make sure you just let me know. And then again, the chat is a great way to stay connected. So we're going to talk about the science, about why that supports what we do and why we do it. But before we get into that, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the Let Animals Lead method, because some of you may not know exactly what that method is. So the Let Animals Lead method was created by Kathleen Prasad back in 2006 is when she started really practicing the Let Animals Lead way. 2004, she opened Animal Reiki Source. So this April, she celebrated 20 years in business. That means that she is the oldest animal Reiki school in existence. Any other animal Reiki schools that are out there, they have not, I can guarantee you, been around since 2004 with a curriculum, with everything that she has had, right? And then she created her code of ethics. She says 2008 on the timeline, and I'll put a link to the timeline in the recap. But it was 2007 because I studied with her in 2007 and she had it then. So I think she's a little bit off on that. But anyway, she has been doing this since 1998. She practiced for 6 years before she even opened up her business. And she wrote her book, Animal Reiki, based on human Reiki adapted for animals. But in 2006, she learned the more meditative method of Reiki, which is, if you think about it, Asui didn't use hands-on. It was all a meditation practice that Asui created. Hands-on came after Asui died. So we're really going back to the origins and the roots of Reiki, the way we practice in the Let Animals Lead method. So in 2006, she learned the more meditative practice and she started to realize that is what animals respond to. So since 2006, Let Animals Lead has been in existence, but it hasn't been called that since 2018. I remember, we'd have lots of long conversations, Kathleen and I, after we started Sarah, about how do we allow this version of animal Reiki to stand out, because people are doing animal Reiki, but they're doing human Reiki adapted for animals. And that wasn't what she was doing. She was doing kind of something that was outside that box and really was its own system for animals, created on their sensitivity and created to honor their agency. So in 2018, during a class, I think it was Sherry Zwick is her last name. Kathleen kept saying, well, we always let animals lead. And hey, Lindsay, it's so good to see you. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. And same for you, Linda. I'm really happy you're both here with us. We're just talking about the origins of the Let Animals Lead method of Animal Reiki. So after Kathleen saying, we always let animals lead, we always let animals lead, Sherry piped up. She said, hashtag let animals lead. And we were cracking up. And we're like, oh yeah, did it. So then at lunch, Kathleen and I are like, oh my God, is that what we call it? Is that that's kind of cool. Let animals lead. You're already saying it. So why not? So she ended up trademarking Let Animals Lead. So that's why you always see Let Animals Lead with the registered trademark after the word lead. And that's because she does own that trademark. And I'm really happy that she does, because it helps us to stand out by what we do, right? We don't do traditional human Reiki where we're forcing hands or anything like that. So I wanted to, before we start with the science, I want to talk to you about what it is that we do, because then you'll understand why I chose the science that I chose. So there is science about Reiki, but we can't use that science. And I'll explain why in a second. So I'm going to share my screen. Hopefully you can see it. I'm seeing something not that I don't want to see here. Sorry about that. I chose the screen. Can you see the Let Animals Lead graphic? Anybody? Okay, great. So I have Alice is nodding her head yes, so I'm going to assume everybody can do it. Thank you so much for Alice, because you're the only one I can see right now that has a camera on. So thank you for that. So here's the Let Animals Lead graphic. It talks about 6 pillars, how we do our animal Reiki, right? And you look at the first one, it's based on Japanese Reiki techniques. And what we mean by that is we practice the precepts. We practice some very traditional Japanese meditations like Joshin Kokyoho, Seisen Toitsu, Hatsureiho, even Gasho is a traditional Japanese and Reiki technique. We also heavy on the precepts. The precepts are a huge foundational practice for us. And they are what help us let go of our anger and our worry. When we go and sit with animals, they help us to become more compassionate. And then we also rely heavily on meditation. And that is thanks to Asui. Asui created this as a meditation practice. And that is what we practice as well. So really, when you look at Animal Reiki, we're going back to the origins of Animal Reiki. And if you really want to get really technical about this, for those of you who practice in the Let Animals Lead way, you know that our energy when we meditate with animals is really big. And you can like be meditating in a busy shelter. Like we have a video on our website, on this Shelter Animal Reiki Association website, that shows Kathleen meditating in a noisy kennel. And as she's meditating, you see everything start to calm down, because stress is contagious, but so is peace. And when we go, I know I've taught at CARE, Kathleen teaches at CARE. When you're there, CARE is a very noisy place. They've got, birds and ducks and, the wild birds, ducks and geese, and they have the tigers, and they have all these animals that are making noise, and monkeys and everything. But when we're there and our students are meditating and everybody's meditating, the animals are also connecting to that. And not only just the animals that are living at CARE or the ones that you're working one-on-one with, but all the animals. The lizards that are running around stop and they take part in this beautiful space that we're creating. The birds stop and take part in this beautiful space. So it's really powerful when we meditate, our energy goes out. Well, can you imagine Asui is on the top of Mount Karama. He's doing what's considered a Shigundo practice. He's out meditating in nature, right? He's doing his 21-day fast. And what do you think was up there with Asui? Animals. And what do you think Asui saw? Animals were responding to his energy going out. Of this, I am 100% positive. And in fact, I want to write something about this eventually. But you can see, which came first, the chicken or the egg, human Reiki or animal Reiki? I'm going to say animal Reiki came first. So when we look at our practice, we can actually say, wow, we go back to the origins of Reiki. And that's something that we're very, very proud of. And I'm so grateful to Kathleen for creating this system, because when we practice this system, we realize how connected we are to animals. And it's easy for us when we connect with these animals to change. And I'm going to talk about the science, why that's possible, why that happens for us. So we only use touch when it's animal initiated. So for those of you who have taken a class, those of you who are on my mindfulness with horses class, you can see that we do use hands, but not as energy conduits. We use them only for comfort. And I did share certain horse positions, hand positions for horses in the mindfulness class. If you're interested in that, you can still buy the recording and the manual you just use the link to sign up, and then we'll send all that to you. So then the third one is we focus on the animal's perfection and presence in the moment, right? All is well. Positive affirmation. All is well, all is well, all is well. We use it as a mantra. There's a lot of power and there's science behind mantras. So that is also something that sets us apart from other lineages. We never focus on what's wrong. And then we teach meditation as a way of compassion. Meditation brings compassion. That's why a lot of people who are jackholes, they'll be like, yeah, I meditate. Like I'm thinking about my ex-brother-in-law, and he says he meditates all the time. And he is literally the biggest jackhole you'd ever want to meet. And it's because there's no intent and they're not really meditating. They're just having an adult timeout, because meditation creates compassion when you're meditating correctly. And I'm so happy to say that in this practice, the way we meditate cultivates compassion almost immediately. And then we develop mindfulness for animals, with animals for peace and healing, right? We have to be present with animals. When we're present, then they feel connected to us and they're more apt to open up with us, right? They're more apt to relax in that thing, in that space together. One easy way to check on this whole theory about this is meditate with horses. Because when you're meditating with horses, you'll be there and you'll be in this beautiful space, and all of a sudden your mind goes, oh, what's he gonna have for dinner? Do I need to go to the grocery store? And your mind goes over here. And the horse will go, oh, I guess we're not meditating, and may walk off. But the good thing about horses is you can go, oh no, I'm going back in that space, and they'll more than likely come back and share that space with you. But if I was meditating with a human, you would never know if my mind was wandering. But animals let us know. They let us know when we're in that space, when we're present, when we're mindful, and it not only helps them, but it helps us. And then we honor animals as healers and teachers. And that is another secret sauce about why our method, Kathleen's method, is so effective. So this is kind of gives you a background about the let animals lead way. And I'll stop sharing my screen right now. And you can see we use meditation. We use breathing, right? So Joshin Kokyoho is a foundational meditation, or the breath of light. And we're breathing in deeply through our nose, breathing into our belly, and then slowly releasing that breath out our mouth, right? So it's not like we're breathing fast or heavy, we're breathing actually slow. And there are many studies that talk about the benefits of breathing slow. So let me bring up my notes so that you guys know me, I will just and over here and over there, and shiny object syndrome, that is what I have. So let's go back here and we'll just talk more about this. And let me get my little screen. So if you want to talk to me, because I'm going to be kind of reading stuff because I don't want to miss anything. So if you want my attention, or if you want to say something, please unmute yourself and just say something, because I'm probably not going to be able to see you, but I do want to hear from you if you have something. Oh, and we've got 2 people who entered the waiting room. So just 1 second and we'll let them in. And hey, Monique, thank you so much for joining us, and Cindy as well. And we also have Mary Ellen joining us. Welcome, Mary Ellen. So we're just now getting into the science of why we do what we do. So as I just shared with you, this is a meditative practice. You can find a ton of studies. I did not like link them. I will create a document for all of you. I don't know if it'll be done by tomorrow when I send out my recap, but I will be giving it to you in one of the following emails, a link that has everything I'm going to talk about today, that has links to studies for you, so that you have those if you need them, if you're interested, you can read more about them, or you can share them. So when we talk about meditation, why do we meditate? Well, it reduces stress and anxiety. It improves our emotional regulation, which is so important, especially when we're working with animals. You have to regulate your emotions. You have to be in a very grounded space when you're working with animals, because they are so sensitive to energy. That's how they connect to each other. That's how they speak to each other. That's how they identify danger. They identify something good, is through energy. So it's really important that we get our emotional regulation into a calm space. And that's what meditation does. And it enhances our focus and our attention. And I can attest to that because I have adult ADD. And meditation has really helped me. Now, I say that meditation with animals has really helped me because in that space, I have a purpose. I know that I have to stay focused, and it's just really helped me a lot. So meditating with animals is just a huge bonus. There aren't really any studies out there about that. There was one that was done after COVID about college students and how petting an animal helped calm them down. So this was right after COVID. I think this was in 2021. So it was kind of during COVID that they did the testing, and that it helped them, to then focus and then have better emotional regulation and all those fun things that meditation brings. And that's just by petting a dog. And I will give you a link to that. But there aren't really any studies that show how meditation with animals helps. Now, thankfully, with Sarah, we have been doing this for 16 years now. And we do have, evidentiary evidence that this works, right? So we have experiential evidence that this works. We have been able to, there's thousands and thousands of animals with Kathleen, myself, and all of the students and all of the Sarah members, that we have proof there that this does work. And meditating with animals not only helps the animals, but it helps us. So it enhances our focus and our attention, and it promotes self-awareness. And that's really true too. It can help us develop a deeper understanding of ourselves and our thoughts and emotion. And I just am here to tell you, when you meditate with animals, that is something that's huge that happens for you. So through this practice, even though we come to this practice because we want to help animals, we want to help support them, we're actually doing so much for ourselves through this practice. And then we open ourselves up also to the teachings of the animals and the energy of the animals, which is really healing for us. So you can go sit with an animal that's dying or an animal that's sick, and you go to share this beautiful space of love and compassion. And you find that when you walk away, you're the one that feels healed, because even animals, when they're sick, when they're dying, their spirit is still big and they still hold space for us. So one of the things that meditation brings is that it helps us care for our vagus nerve. So what is the vagus nerve? Why is it so important? Well, the vagus nerve is essential for maintaining your overall health and well-being due to its extensive influence on our bodily functions. So what the vagus nerve does, and vagus nerve is spelled just like Vegas, Las Vegas, but it's Vagus, VAGUS. So it regulates our nervous system. It's a major component of the parasympathetic nervous system, and it's responsible for the rest and digest instead of the fight or flight response. It's responsible for rest and digest. It counteracts the sympathetic nervous system's fight or flight, and a healthy vagus nerve promotes relaxation, reduces stress, and aids in digestion, sleep, and recovery. It has an influence on our physical health. It helps regulate our heart rate, our blood pressure, and inflammation. It also influences gut health, digestion, and the immune system. So an optimal vagus nerve function is linked to reduced risk of chronic diseases like cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and inflammatory disorders. And it has an impact on our mental health. It's connected to brain regions responsible for mood regulation, anxiety, and depression. And a healthy vagus nerve can improve mood, reduce anxiety, and enhance our emotional resistance. There's a gut-brain connection. So the vagus nerve is also crucial in communication pathways between the gut and the brain, influencing the gut microbiome, which plays a vital role in both your mental and physical health. And so supporting the vagus nerve health can positively impact gut health, which in turn can impact your mental well-being. And then it's also a resilience to stress. A well-functioning vagus nerve helps the body to adapt to stress more effectively. So ways you can care for the vagus nerve. Now, here's where we come in. Deep breathing, deep, slow breathing from the diaphragm stimulates the vagus nerve. So what do? We've practiced it many times in this community. We breathe into our gut. We expand our belly. That is deep diaphragm breathing. And that helps care for the vagus nerve. Mindfulness and meditation. We meditate, right? That also helps to reduce stress and improve the vagal nerve tone. the yoga and Tai Chi, we don't do yoga and Tai Chi here, singing and chanting. If you take a level 2, level 3, you learn chanting. So these activities, singing and chanting, engage the vocal cords, which are connected to the vagus nerve. So it starts up here and it comes down, and it can stimulate its activity. And then also what is helpful is cold exposure, doing the deep plunge baths, healthy diet, eating a diet that's rich in anti-inflammatory foods can help support your vagus nerve. And then social connection. But here we go again, right? We have a social connection through Animal Reiki, and that also helps stimulate the vagus nerve and promote well-being. Oh, whoops, somebody is not muted. I'm just going to mute you, Lindsay, here just really quick, and you as well, Mary Ellen. Thank you so much. Perfect. So you can see that our system of Animal Reiki stimulates the vagus nerve, which the vagus nerve is responsible for all these things that we're trying to calm in our bodies, right? Our mental health, our nervous system, our gut, just our healthy living. So this practice of Animal Reiki through meditation, right? Through the chanting, through the breathing, we're doing things in this that help us become healthier. And I can tell you, you will experience so much stronger mental health with this system. So I'm going to pause for a minute. And I know we have some, like Charisse is here, and Dawn is here, and Monica is here. I would love for you, and Beth is here, and Claudia. I would love for one of you, if you can, to just open up and share, and Lindsay too, and also Alice, share like maybe how this has helped you, the system has helped you, before we go into more of the science. And T, welcome. I don't think I said welcome to you, so thank you so much for being here. And also Mel is a teacher. Sorry, I'm like looking at this and you're all in gallery. So no one wants to unmute and share how this system. Yeah, go ahead, Charisse, please. And then Claudia.
Yeah, I think that it's been amazing. And I think the thing that I can look and quantify best is when I look at everything that I've been through. I mean, I've been doing this for a while, and I've been through Let Animals Lead, and just went through the master teacher training, or just the teacher training, not master. And I look at what I've gone through in the last 6 months in my life personally, one thing being a major cross-country move from New York to Tucson with 5 animals in a motorhome in the winter, a daughter with mental health challenges, severe, who came out 2 months later. Like, there's been a lot, and I've managed to maintain my practice daily. So I think 2 things that have happened that I can look back on to say retrospectively, wow, where would I have been without it? Yeah. Even easier than where am I every day with it is to say, oh my gosh, like I never could have gotten through the tremendous amount of challenges with a level of grace. And not every, I was a hot mess some days, but the resilience. So one is the resilience that's built in, that has happened. 2 has been, I love what you said, shiny object syndrome. That's, I have adult ADD. I've probably had childhood ADD. Who knew? But it centers and grounds me. It provides me that chance to sit and focus. And because I'm doing it with animals, they help me because I'm there for a reason. I'm there for me. I'm there for them. I'm just holding space and energy. So it gives me a reason not to mind wander so much. But it's more because here we're talking about not as what's the effect on the animal, what's the effect on me personally. I can tell you that I'm here today, living in my house, somewhat unpacked, settling into Tucson with all of these bureaucratic issues to deal with, getting my daughter settled here as well because of Animal Reiki. And yes, I do other practices, but this is the thing that has crystallized it all. And just, could I share something really amazing that happened yesterday?
Really quick.
Really quick, because I think it goes to the science. I was at the Tucson Zoo and I was doing Animal Reiki. I was doing Reiki with a rhino. And the reason I want to share this is I was just sitting by myself doing my thing, and I was holding my hands, up, doing Reiki, doing my meditation. And the rhino came over and he was rolling around and everything. Well, I guess a little boy happened to see it at that time, or he sees energy. I don't know what to say, but he was 2 years old. and he came running over, and his mother was trying to chase him, and he came over and he climbed up on the chair on the bench next to me, and he was pointing at the rhino and pointing, and he was going tss.
Oh my goodness.
And so I looked, and the mother was saying, and the aunt was there, and they said, "What is he doing?" The mother said, "I don't know, maybe he saw a cartoon." Well, then he wouldn't let me go. He wanted me to walk with him. I had to get off the bench. He took my hands and he took me to a duck, and he went and he pulled my hands up and he went, "Tss." And I think I now, like, he wanted me to make the duck roll over, like as if I had made the rhino roll over.
Oh my
But
God, I love that.
it was the most incredible experience. So I just wanted to share that it is that there's two components. One is internal, one is external.
Yeah,
And people can see and feel it. And children are really sensitive. So
I love that so much. Thank you so much for sharing that, Charisse. That is just so beautiful. And hopefully we can get some scientific studies going about, working with animals. So Claudia, I would love to hear from you next. And then I know that, where did she go? We had somebody else who raised their hand. Maybe she had to leave. I'm not sure. So was it you, Sunny? Did you raise your hand? Or Beth? Okay, so yeah. And there was somebody else that raised their hand. And so I apologize. I can't see right now. Okay, so go ahead, Claudia. Sorry about that.
Oh yeah, no worries. Well, that's one of the things that really changed for me. I am a worrier, and worry can lead to frustration, can lead to anger in me. So I could get angry about things that I couldn't change, And of course, I did human Reiki, so I was aware of and worked with the precepts. One of them being for today only, do not worry. But it wasn't until I took this class, the Let Animals Lead method, that it really sunk in, right? Also because of the meditations I did with the foster animals that I have all the time, I noticed that both for me and the animals, that really worked. So this method made me really feel the do not worry part of for today only, do not worry. So yeah, I think I have a long way to go, right? I'm still a worrier, but I can stop it now, right? Before I roll into this, you know what I mean, before everything gets overwhelming.
Absolutely. And that's also a testament to the practice on your vagus nerve, right? You're calming it, and you
Yes.
have these techniques to calm it so that you don't have that fight or flight response. You're actually being calm. Yeah, I love that. Thank you for that, Claudia. And then before I get to you, Beth, Monique had her hand up, and then I lost her. And I was like, wait a second. Oh, you didn't have your hand up, Monique? Oh, okay. I thought you did before you got off camera. So no worries. Sorry about that. I thought you had something you wanted to say. Okay, thank you. Beth. Oh, yep. There you go. Unmute yourself.
Hi, everybody. My dog was my dog who had passed. I talked to an animal communicator after he passed, and he was the one that told me to take Animal Reiki. I had never even heard of it. And I looked on the internet, and Kelly was giving a class like in 2 weeks, and she was right in my area, which is Podunk, Vermont. And I was just like, wow, this is definitely a gift of the universe. I couldn't believe how the synchronicity in that. And from Animal Reiki, the precepts have been one of the greatest gifts, besides doing Animal Reiki. But for me, I have found a place to put my heart and purpose in my life, beyond just having one animal, but a place to put my heart. And I've learned about true compassion from all the, people like Leah, who, to learn how to have light and then spread the light and the love, to just let it out. And like Claudia was just saying, let the worry go and go to the light and the love. And also learned that that animals are true teachers, that it's not about always my dog and always so wonderful and always my dog, no, I'm here to serve the dog. It's all about, well, all the animals. And just, dedicating all I can to these animals who are in so much suffering. So I've got to say that Animal Reiki has opened my heart and let out the love and the light. So
I love that. Thank you, Beth. And I'm so glad you said that about compassion, because we have studies about compassion and how compassion can help heal us, and what the effects are. So I will go back to does anyone else have anything they want to share? And I'll just give it a sec. Oh, Monica, yes, you unmuted. Yes, I'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, working with a shelter with more than 500 dogs, with all the stress and frustration and pain I see every day, I don't know how would I survive if I didn't use methods of let animals lead and Reiki, because I was almost at the bottom and wanted to quit my job when I read more about it and when I started your class, Leah, and that is what literally changed my life. And it is now more than a year, I think. And it is truly amazing experience and something that I really appreciate. And I'm really grateful for having it in my life, because yeah, it helps me a lot during everyday challenges.
Yeah, and you have a lot of challenges, and I love too, not everyone knows the story of Heart. So Heart was a dog that came into the shelter that just didn't want to be around people, was really distrusting, and Monica, through the Let Animals Lead method, was able to get some trust, and Heart just passed away. She was a young dog, right, Monica?
She was like 7 or 8 years old. They assume maybe she was even older, but the saddest thing is that she had a crappy life before the shelter, and shelter wasn't very good for her. But I have to say, I feel peace now, because I know she was loved.
Yes.
I gave her all that I could, and she will stay in my heart forever. And you helped me a lot, and all the meditations and chanting and everything did so much for her and for me.
Yeah.
Very grateful.
You wrote a blog about her, and I just wanted to call her out because I do want to honor Heart, and I'm sorry to make you cry, Monica. And I appreciate you sharing her energy, but I know that, Monica was able to really help her start to trust humans and to be able to open herself up to have like a friend at the shelter. And she was able to get out into, like, there's an open pasture, and she was able to take her there in a meadow and let her run and have fun with her friends. And so even though Heart had a hard life, through this practice, Monica, you were able to really open up her world. And we're all, humans are very attached to, oh my gosh, but the rest of her life was really bad and she was in a shelter. But we have to remember that animals don't focus on, oh my gosh, look what happened yesterday and what's going to happen tomorrow. They're very in the moment. And in the moment, Heart was very, very loved, and she was appreciated. And thanks to you, you opened her up to other people at the shelter as well, Monica.
Yeah, I know she taught me lots of lessons, and most of them were about patience and trust and love. And that is something I will always carry with me and spread it to other animals that I meet.
Absolutely. And for those of you, if you go to our blog, you can see like a little video of Heart when she was very shut down, and then a photo of her when I think we have a photo of her, Monica, when she was running around and free. But thank you so much, Monica. I really appreciate you sharing that. So you can see where this practice really, like, it fortifies you to do the hard work. And poor Monica, she's in this shelter, and like she said, she was ready to give up. But through this practice, she didn't. And so I'm here to, promote the practice, but also to tell you, there's science behind what we do and why it's beneficial for us. Carolyn, I want to say hello to you. Thank you so much for joining us. So we're just getting into the science. We talked about the vagus nerve, and now we're going to talk more about the science. So there are some studies that just talk about the effect of slow breathing on the vagus nerve. Also about the pursed lip breathing. So we've done that a couple times where we're breathing in deeply through our nose, pulling that breath into our belly, right? The diaphragm breathing. But when we breathe out through pursed lips, like we're blowing out a straw. And so that has a way of just calming your parasympathetic nervous system, your vagus nerve too. And that's another simple way that you can bring peace and calm into your body. So some of the things that we do here, that's not necessarily a Reiki thing, but it is something you would learn in my class, and it's something we practice here. So going on to belly breathing and grounding. So there's a lot of studies on why you breathe into your diaphragm. Just doing that can actually improve your blood pressure, your heart rate, your quality of life, and reduce anxiety in people who have high blood pressure. That's one study. Another study was showing that an 8-week diaphragm breathing relaxation program reduced self-reported anxiety levels and psychological indicators of anxiety, your elevated heart rate and breathing rate. And then there is another study that shows that slow breathing and diaphragm breathing were affected in reducing anxiety. So anxiety is reduced by diaphragm breathing, and that's one of our main meditations. It's one of our foundational meditations. It's one we do all the time. So it's easy to start to calm your body when you're feeling anxious or you're feeling upset about being with an animal. Like poor Monica, she's in a shelter with 500 dogs. You can imagine the noise and the sad cases that come through, yet she's able to help her anxiety by doing this practice. So I think we lost her and she came back. So going back to, I just wanted to go back here. So diaphragm breathing, it activates the relaxation response. There's studies that support that. It reduces anxiety and panic attacks. And then also deep diaphragm breathing before bedtime can promote relaxation and improve your sleep quality. So a lot of times after the Reiki class, like during Reiki class, we're like, okay, you've done a lot of energy work. A lot of times people report, oh my gosh, I've had the best sleep of my life. And that's because throughout the class, we're really focusing on that deep diaphragm breathing. We're doing it over and over and over as we go and practice with animals. So visualization, that's another thing that we do in this practice. So, from being here, we'll say visualize the light coming in, visualize expanding the light. There's other, like the healing bridge meditation, visualize a bridge of light coming from your heart. We do visualization a lot in this practice. Well, there are studies that show that meditation with visualization is really effective for increasing your attention, your interoception, which is your awareness of your body sensations, and sensory processing. So we have a study for that. It also activates brain areas involved in, again, perception, strong body-mind connection. Let's see if we have another one here. And actually, visualization can be effective in managing pain and other symptoms in cancer patients. It also can evoke emotional responses and be used in therapy for phobias. And then visualization can help manage chronic pain and fatigue in patients with MS. So visualization can really help us. And some of the other studies demonstrate that it enhances your brain structure and function. It reduces pain and anxiety. It improves your mood and well-being. It facilitates emotional processing, and it aids in behavior change and goal achievement. So we visualize a lot in Animal Reiki, and I can tell you I've shared that story many times of how I was visualizing, meditating with the tigers after I had met them. There was a whole year that passed before I met them again, and when I met them again, they were like my best friends. They were treating me like I had seen them every day. It was so strange. It was so overwhelming because when I visualized, I was actually connecting. So there's a lot that goes with visualization. That actually isn't a study. There was no study about that, but you can see where visualization can really help you. So visualize when you're meditating. The one thing you want to do though, is when you're visualizing, when you meditate, make sure that it's not taking you out of a calm space. You want to visualize, like visualizing you're at the beach, visualizing the waves, the sound of the waves, just keeping your body calm with the visualization. And so mantras and chanting, mantras, that would be the precepts, right? For today only, do not worry, or do not anger, do not worry, be humble, be honest, show compassion to yourself. Also, we do the all is well mantra. And then we do the symbols, chokure, seiheki, honshaze shonen, repeating those either through saying their name, or we also teach chanting. And there's a lot of different studies that talk about the efficacy of chanting on our bodies. And so what they have found is that mantra-based meditation improved cognitive function in older adults, including attention, memory, and executive function. So for those of us who are older, it's really cool to know that by doing the meditations with our mantra-based and the chanting, we're actually helping our bodies improve. Another study found that the chanting's effects on mental health include potential benefits for attention and focus, while not directly addressing this one study, while not addressing focus and meditation, it provides a broader context for understanding how chanting could impact cognitive function. So, and many of these also support the cognitive functions, but one of these says that it can positively impact mental health, reducing stress, anxiety, and depression. So again, remember, chanting, singing, humming, they all stimulate our vagus nerve. And what does our vagus nerve do? It calms our body and reduces anxiety and removes the fight or flight response. And so there's a few others. So now we get to compassion. So there's a lot of studies that talk about compassion. And so just a quick summary, compassion has numerous benefits. It can reduce stress, anxiety, depression, and increase happiness, well-being, and resilience. It can improve cardiovascular health, your immune function, and pain management. It creates stronger relationships, increased pro-social behavior, and reduced aggression. I will say that students come to Animal Reiki classes because they're like, I don't like people, I only like animals, I want to learn how to be better with animals. But through the Animal Reiki classes, they start to improve relationships, not only with friends and family, but outside, like going to a shelter, having better relationships at shelters, having better relationships everywhere. So you can see where compassion can really help us in our lives just be better people and have a better life. It also creates positive changes in brain structure and function, particularly in areas related to empathy, emotional regulation, and social connection. And then what else do we include in the Animal Reiki practice? Gratitude. Gratitude is a huge, huge component of the Let Animals Lead method. And if you take a class, you learn how gratitude is one of our magic sauces and how we use it. And so just in summary, gratitude increases your happiness, your life satisfaction, your optimism, and your resilience. So, kind of what Monica was experiencing, what Beth experienced, what Claudia's experienced, what Charisse experienced, improved sleep, reduced physical symptoms, even boosted immune function, all from just being grateful. And then you have stronger relations and increased pro-social behavior and more positive interaction with others. And again, I will create a document that has all of these links. I ask for your patience. I don't know if I'll have it done in time for the recap. I will try though, but I will have links to all of these studies for you so that you can then, if you like, start giving them out when you do presentations, just to show, hey, this isn't woo-woo what we do. It's actually backed. The components that we share are actually backed by science. And then we go down to hands-on healing. So we don't teach hands-on healing for animals. We teach hands-on healing for self. And so there's a lot of studies that talk about therapeutic touch, right? So there is limitations on the research. And while some of the studies suggest the potential benefits, the hands-on self-healing is limited. There's also the placebo effect, and then there's individual differences, but overall, they did find that it does help with anxiety, it does help with mood, it does help with calmness, reducing headache, pain. So there are things that do prove, and I know that there are Reiki studies. I think that Torsten Lang has some Reiki studies. I know that Pamela Miles has Reiki studies on hands-on for humans. But since we don't use hands-on in Animal Reiki, we really can't use the Reiki studies that are out there. Also, we're in those Reiki studies, they're focusing on what's wrong. They're focusing on focusing on the problem and healing it. And that's not what we do in the Let Animals Lead way. So none of those studies really work for us. But so that's why we have to pull from meditation-based studies and studies based on compassion, gratitude, on mantras and chanting. And so let me go down here. And I think that, the precepts too, also another thing, the precepts are like the mantras, and there are studies that show that mantras work. So I'm just going to connect the precepts to mantras, because we do in this method, we rely heavily on the precepts. And the reason for that being is, unlike any other meditation practice out there, the precepts are a mindfulness tool. So the precepts, when you practice them daily, when you go throughout your day, you'll immediately be aware of when you're angry. You'll immediately be aware when you're worried, because we're human. We're going to be angry. We're going to worry. But what the precepts do is say, hey, whoa, you're angry. And we go, oh, that's right, for today only. There is no other meditation practice that I know of that has a built-in mindfulness tool. And that is the beauty of the Let Animals Lead practice, because we practice so deeply and strongly with the precepts. They become an instant reminder when we're angry, when we're worried, and they also help us to let go of anger and worry when we go to sit with an animal. So there aren't really any studies about mindfulness in animals, although there was one done with college students on mindfulness during the pandemic. And it found that college students, when they were stressed out and they could pet dogs, like therapy dogs, it increased their ability to study, it reduced their anxiety. So there is that study, but it's not really a study where they were necessarily meditating with them. And there's also some studies with horses. There was a study where they did a study with veterans and horses, and the horses helped the veterans calm down, become more present, become more mindful. And so that was a really cool thing too. So I'll give links to this. And, unfortunately, most of the studies that are out there, there's studies that are on how therapy animals help us. And we know that, but we really need more studies on how we help animals when we meditate and we create that beautiful meditative space. So Carolyn says, real-time helping and breathing with my dog, Roxy. She was shaking so much this morning. I thought we'd have to go to the vet. I'm hoping it's just the noise of the tree cutters out on our street. So I've taken her away from the house, and we are cuddling and meditating in the car by the beach with you all. Oh, that's so beautiful. Thank you, Carolyn. So Carolyn is actually the author of some beautiful books. I will put a link in a recap for you. I encourage you to look at her books. They're all about saving animals. So maybe saving the cows from the dairy farm, but she does it for children to learn how to drink, nut milks and things like that, alternative milks, and to save the dairy cows. But she does it in a very loving and not graphic and upsetting way for children. And so I will put a link to that. So thank you so much, Carolyn, for being here. And let me just put that down to put in the recap, because I don't want to forget. So I would love to open it up to you. And I'm here to say to you about these scientific studies. Here's the thing about science. You can usually find a scientific study that's going to support your viewpoint. And you can find a scientific study that's going to oppose your viewpoint. So we kind of have to take this all, obviously it's like an argument. I'm going to argue for what I believe in, and I'm going to find evidence that what I'm saying is true. But you might say, well, I have evidence that it's not true. And that's okay. We're here, we're all individuals. We're going to take what we can. We're going to practice what we believe in. So don't take what I'm saying as, oh my gosh, this is the be all end all. I'm just giving you all information that I've learned, that I found fascinating, and I wanted to share with all of you. But you don't have to go, oh my gosh, Leah's just so full of BS. We have actually things that counteract that. Or you might be a person who uses human Reiki with animals and you're finding success with that. And that's totally fine. I mean, we're just here to share information. So I would love to open it up. And if you have any comments before we do a meditation, when we end, I would love to hear from you. And yes, Charisse, please. And just a reminder, just one sec, Charisse, just a reminder, Even if you have an opposing view, please share it, because it's how we all learn. There is no right or wrong answer. There's no, oh gosh, that's the wrong way that you're doing it. There's none of that here. We all believe that everybody is doing everything in their own individual way. Everybody has a right to an opinion. So please know that this is a safe place to share an opposing view. Yes, Sharice.
I mean, this is brilliant. And thank you so much for compiling the information and the studies. One of the things, and I know we've talked about it before, that I come up against a lot is people not understanding, one, how is it affecting the animals? What's the science behind that? And then the distance, even if I can get them to believe that part via demonstration, because I'll give the, well, you can't explain everything, but we can witness it. So just watch.
Yes.
How do do you have something or some study or
No,
anything that
you know what?
use?
I didn't even think about that, but I'm sure through the Reiki studies, there are probably, and that study might be okay to use, the Reiki study. But again, sometimes with Reiki, people are like, I don't really believe in Reiki, so the Reiki study might not work. But let me look at that distant healing, because that also goes to prayer. Prayer is a distant thing. There is something else. There's Reiki, there's prayer. I mean, just energy healing in general, if you're doing it distant. So I will look at that, because that's a really great suggestion, because that's important too, right? That is a big part of what we do. And even for people who may not practice the let animals lead way, they might find some of these studies really helpful to support what they're doing already. So yeah, thank you so much for that, Sharice. So anyone else want to open up and just share, or just say hi, or has a question? You don't have to have a question about this. It could be a question about anything. We're all here to support you. And what I love about these questions and about sharing is you can see how so many people from our community, they speak up, they share, and it helps all of us. And that's what I really appreciate about this community, is that, we all have different viewpoints. We all have different ways of doing things, but yet we come together and we can share our individual ideas. So anyone, I'm just going to sit here and talk. I can't believe my Mel hasn't come up. I say piped up. Oh, Carolyn, yes. Hello. Did she unmute, or is that an accident? Carolyn, are you trying to talk? Oh, maybe not. So I will just go ahead and. No. Monica, did you have something to say?
Yes, I wanted you to meet Little Funny.
Oh.
She is a puppy that I'm fostering. She was very, very ill. She had epilepsy attacks. She had obsessive compulsive disorder that she wanted to bite her tail off. Mm-hmm. She even had like autism symptoms. And there was a time that I thought I will lose my mind with her, because it was really bad and she was really suffering. But I was sitting with her for hours, meditating, chanting, sometimes feeling helpless, but eventually we were waiting for some veterinary appointments and everything. But eventually she's fine now. She gets her medication that is doing good for her. She's very happy and playful and busy terrier puppy. So I think we made it through the hardest days only with Reiki and with meditations and with breathing and trying to be calm in everything that we've been through.
Oh, I love that so much. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I made it big. I made speaker views, so on the recording, people have the benefit of seeing her close up. That's so wonderful, Monica. I really appreciate you sharing that, because it just goes to show the power of what we do and why we do it. And really, and Monica says Reiki, but is the let animals lead. She's not trying to fix or heal or change, because
yes, yeah, I need to add this. She was there was a time that she was untouchable. She was she was, I really thought she had autism because she was screaming if I wanted to touch her, and sometimes I needed to touch her to heal her tail. But yeah, I was just doing meditations with her without any hands-on, because it was really, if I would wanted to, it was impossible. So yeah, it's important to say that.
Yeah, no, it is. And look at her. She's just like, she is just going everywhere. I love that. She's so cute. Thank you so much, Monica. I so appreciate you. It's so good to see you.
Thank you.
So does anyone else have anything they want to share or anything they want to ask? Nobody? You can just unmute. Okay, well, then let's get into our meditation and we'll do the diaphragm breathing. We'll start our day. And oh, Mel, there you are, Mel.
Hi, sorry.
No, you're fine.
I wanted to share a quick experience I had today. It's not so much Reiki related, but it is, you know, how we always, we see so much suffering and bad things that are happening to animals, and, you know, people doing bad things to animals and things like that. So on my way home on my way back from lunch, back to work from my house at lunch, I saw a little tiny chihuahua crossing the street, a very busy street. He looked very lost, and I had no idea where he was coming from. So I was like, he's gonna get hit. And I could not go to work thinking that this animal would pass if I didn't step in. So I turned around, pulled into a parking lot, and he was in the grassy area. And he was very scared. I think this dog is neglected to begin with. But so I tried to have him come over, and then he started running. So my car door wide open, my car running, I started jogging after the dog a little bit. Just walking first and then jogging, and now we're in the middle of the road. Yeah, well, on the side of the road, but still, traffic back and forth. I asked, like, I made motions for people to slow down. People started to slow down, and I'm still making sure that I literally was just there to make sure this dog was not going to be run over today. That was my only mission. But I had about 20 vehicles, 10 on each side, that ended up slowing down, stopping, and people offering their help to catch this little dog. And as on our way back, the same thing happened. He was returning around the other side, and same thing. People just got out and they wanted to just slow him down a little. I was hoping he would tire out. He was so small. And he just didn't. But everyone stopped. My faith in humanity for that brief moment was restored a little by so many people who have such busy lives, constantly being on the fast track to not be upset, but to help this little tiny pooch not get run over. One man actually stopped an 18-wheeler.
Oh, wow.
And everyone, it was such a heartwarming experience. The dog ended up going in a different direction down, like it's a side road. He must have lived in that area. And maybe he just got loose, but regardless, I'm actually after work, I'm going to drive down there to check to see if I can see if he's out there somewhere. He definitely deserves a better home to begin with, but seeing all those people's hearts open up today, not just their car doors and step out, but their hearts to just open up to helping an animal, and helping a person that they don't know, trying to help this animal with smiles on their faces and no rushing, was just a really good experience today. And I just wanted to share that because it was something that doesn't happen very often. And I wanted to just put that out there as a really good
I appreciate that. We have to go because we're getting late, but I do want to say also that I'm going to send a note, but I can't for some reason. I just want to say that you started that. It started with you. It started with your compassion, your understanding. And that's another thing, like we've talked about this, we're one person, but we can ignite the light in others by our own light. And I think that's really beautiful, Mel. And I really appreciate you sharing that, because it's such a wonderful reminder of how, oh, there's Claudia's little crazy kitten just doing zoomies. But it's so important to remember that, you know, we see ourselves as one person and we think that we're alone in our love or our supportive animals, and we're not. Other people have that. And I loved hearing that the guy in the 18-wheeler stopped. I mean, so thank you so much, Mel. Thank you for sharing that. And thank you for stopping. Mel is like the savior of all animals. It's funny. They somehow get in her path and then boom. And so that was kind of meant to be, but I love that. And thank you for sharing that energy with us. So we're at time, but I just want to do a really simple breath that we've done before, but it's going to help you throughout your day. And so it's called the straw breath by some. It's just a deep diaphragm breathing. So we will just dedicate the energy that we create to all sentient beings, to this beautiful little dog, and to anyone else who needs it. So we go into Gasho, which is just prayer pose at our heart center, and we set our intent that we're open to receive whatever it is that we need most at this moment in time. And we're creating a beautiful healing circle together. So just take a moment to invite any people, animals, or situations into the circle, knowing that they will receive love and support. And let us set our intention that we are open to receiving whatever we need. And we'll put our hands face up or face down on our lap. And I want you to just breathe in slowly through your nose and pull your breath as far as you can down into your belly. Expand your belly, and then expand it even further. And then slowly release your breath out your mouth as if you were blowing out a straw. And make sure your out breath is longer than your in breath. So it might help if we count. You would breathe in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, kind of really expand. And then on the out breath, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You just always want to make sure your out breath is longer than your in breath. So just focusing on that breath, breathing in deeply through your nose, expanding your belly, and then slowly releasing that breath out your mouth. And it's just a slow, rhythmic breathing, making sure you expand your belly. And when you expand it even further, you expand your diaphragm, you expand your lungs. And then that slow release helps your body start to feel calm, starts to feel peace. It starts to soften. Just a few more of those breaths. And you can feel the energy you're creating within you is very calm and peaceful. It's a very simple meditation that gets really big results. Just taking a moment to do this. If you're stressed in your day, you might want to do it for 10 breaths or 20. You just need a little reset, maybe only 3 to 5 breaths. Whenever you're ready, bring your breath back to neutral, just a slow in and out through your nose, or if it's more comfortable, you can breathe out your mouth. It's totally fine. But you can imagine you're breathing in light into your stomach. And as you expand your belly, your stomach, you start to expand the light within you. And on the out breath, envision that light seeping out every cell of your body into the space around you. Breathing in light, and on the out breath, expanding light. As you breathe in, breathing in light, and expanding that light throughout your body. You're expanding your own beautiful inner light. You're expanding your light of love and compassion. You're expanding your true essence of who you are at your core. Just visualize yourself as a beautiful bubble of light. You are the light of love and compassion, peace and joy. And this light is what the animals see. This light is what the animals connect to. This light is your connection to nature, to other beings, to animals, to the universe. In this light, you recognize that we are all one, we are all connected through our lights. Our light is our purest form of ourselves. And as you breathe in and out, allow yourself to feel love. Allow yourself to feel joy. Allow your breath to bring peace to your body. And on your out breath, imagine that peace just radiating out. You are like the sun or like a full moon. Your light is illuminating all around it. And just take a moment and sit in this beautiful space of love and light to remind yourself that this is who you are. It is easy for you to share love because it is who you are. It is easy for you to share peace, share joy, because it is who you are. You are not anger. You are not worry. You are not frustration. You are not anxiety. You are pure love. And the animals remind you of that every day. They see your light and they mirror it back. Whenever you're ready, bring your hands into Gasho and give thanks to yourself for being here today, for holding this beautiful space, and give thanks to all the animals and people who joined us. Whenever you're ready, you can bring yourself back and end your meditation. Thank you all so much for being here, so much for your support, your love, and being a part of this beautiful community. Thank you so much. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Mel. It's just a beautiful time that we can all be together and remind ourselves that we are so much bigger than what we allow ourselves to be, that we are so much more, what do I want to say, like healing than we think we are. Our love, our light, it heals. And you get this reflected back all the time through animals, through people you love, through people you help. You know, just smiling at someone in the grocery store is so healing. They smile back and you feel better and they feel better. So be sure, share your joy, share your love, share your light as you're going out, because you're all amazing, beautiful beings. And I have so much gratitude for you. So thank you all so much for being here, and I will see you next week. Bye, everyone.